Hi, my name is Jillian Tart, and today I'm going to be narrating this presentation about Coca-Cola's Small World Machines campaign that my partner Bria Fort and I put together. To start with a little background, the Coca-Cola Company is an American corporation that was founded in 1892. Its headquarters are located in Atlanta, Georgia. Coca-Cola is the largest beverage manufacturer and distributor in the world and one of the largest corporations in the United States. They sell more than 3,800 soft drink and citrus beverage products in over 200 countries. Some of those brands include Diet Coke, Coca-Cola Zero, Fanta, Sprite, Dasani, Powerade, and more. According to the company website, Coca-Cola defines its mission as seeking to refresh the world, inspire moments of optimism and happiness, and to create value and make a difference. Their vision is centered around people, the company portfolio, their partners, the planet, the profit they yield, and their productivity. The core values of Coke include leadership, collaboration, integrity, passion, diversity, and quality. Coca-Cola entered the Indian market in 1993. They positioned themselves as offering healthy, safe, high quality, and refreshing beverage options to their consumers. They employ over 2,500 local workers and are committed to building sustainable communities by reducing their environmental footprint and contributing to the development of the communities in which they operate. Coca-Cola entered the Pakistan market in 1953, just 6 years after the country achieved their independence. Coke products are produced locally, which not only provides employment to the citizens of Pakistan, but it allows Coke to tailor their product range to reflect Pakistani tastes and lifestyles. Pictured here is a local office and bottling plant. Beverages are sold and produced in Pakistan via Coca-Cola bottling plants, which operate under Coca-Cola Beverage Pakistan Ltd. Coke Pakistan also claims to be committed to creating a more sustainable, healthier future for their local communities. Coca-Cola's goal with this campaign was to find an innovative way to bring the two countries together despite years of political tensions. As a part of this, Coca-Cola used their national brands in Pakistan and India to unite them. As a part of this workup, Coke India and Pakistan offices worked together to create an experience that connected the two countries. This was something that had never been done before, so Coca-Cola had to enlist the help of different technology companies to create a design in which people could interact with each other in a 3D way and also use the brand Coca-Cola. The ultimate idea was to create a Skype-like video conference through a vending machine. The biggest threat for this campaign is by far the poor relations of the two countries, which is what Coke was attempting to overcome. Pakistan and India broke apart in 1943 and have since fought three major wars, one of which almost led to a nuclear conflict in 1999. Pakistan's military intelligence agency has also been accused of supporting anti-India terror groups. While this might seem like a lot to overcome, Coca-Cola does have a few key things going for them in this campaign. They've seen success with similar ads before, such as the 1971 Hilltop commercial, which also centered around themes of connectivity and joy. Thanks to their efforts to increase sustainability through employment and being environmentally conscious in their manufacturing, Coke also has a good reputation among local communities. Coca-Cola takes advantage of the new innovative technology produced by Leo Burnett that allows them to create the vending machines that are at the center of this campaign. In the campaign, they also utilize the tried and true conflict resolution tactic of fostering short-term, low-risk social interactions to help bridge the gap between the people of India and Pakistan. An area in which they might fall short with in the campaign is that it is short-lived. Coke reportedly plans to take the machines to other countries, which will likely make any long-term healing effects on India-Pakistan relations very minimal. Coke will also risk the perception that they are attempting to practice cola diplomacy, which is where you basically have a soft drink company seeking to solve a large-scale wicked problem that is entangled in issues like imperialism, religious conflicts, and a nuclear standoff. This could paint the brand as naive and make it seem as if they are trivializing the problem. Next, let's talk a little bit about the political climate in India and Pakistan. As you can see from this infographic, India is considered a free country. They received an aggregate score of 77 out of 100, with 100 being the most free. According to Freedom House, India is an electoral democracy, with a multi-party system at both the federal and state levels. While minority groups in India, most notably Muslims and certain castes and tribes, experience legal equality and do benefit from some affirmative action programs, they are also socially marginalized and sometimes targeted in violent attacks. The political climate in Pakistan is a bit more tumultuous, with the country only receiving an aggregate score of 43 on the freedom scale. According to Freedom House, Pakistan has a competitive multi-party system, yet the country's military exerts enormous influence over various issues, such as security. Extremist groups regularly target the religious minorities of the country, though terrorist violence has been on the decline since 2016. India scored a 40 on Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index and is ranked 79 out of 176 of the most corrupt countries in the world. Pakistan received a 32 and is ranked 116 out of 176, with 176 being the most corrupt country evaluated. These scores obviously, unfortunately, sit towards the bottom of the scale. Corruption in Southeast Asia can be attributed to various factors, such as unaccountable governments and a lack of oversight. India has a diverse economy that combines elements of traditional farming with a wide range of modern industries. The country is developing into an open market economy, with measures like industrial deregulation and reduced controls on foreign trade and investments helping to accelerate India's growth. India's long-term growth has a positive outlook, with its young population and healthy savings rates, but the country also has some challenges to still overcome, like discrimination against women in the workforce. Pakistan's economy is underdeveloped and continually sees slow growth due to decades of internal political disputes. Foreign investors have also been deterred by issues such as electricity shortages and a challenging security environment. Economic growth and reform in Pakistan can be achieved by addressing these issues and working towards expanding investments in education and healthcare and overall improving the country's business environment. Moving on to the media landscape in India and Pakistan, Doordarshan is India's public TV network, and they operate about 20 national, regional, and local services. There is also an increasing number of privately owned TV stations that are distributed by cable and satellite service providers. As of 2015, there are about 230 million homes that have access to over 700 cable and satellite TV channels. The government controls AM radio, with All India Radio operating domestic and external networks. News that is broadcast over the radio is limited to this All India Radio network. There is also an increasing number of privately owned FM stations that have been permitted since the year 2000 and are increasing in number rapidly. There are over 300 million internet users in India, which makes up 29.5% of the population. The media in Pakistan is governmentally regulated. They have one dominant state-owned TV broadcaster, Pakistan Television Corporation, which has 8 channels. Private TV broadcasts are permitted, and there are currently 69 foreign satellite channels that are operational. In terms of radio, Pakistan's state-owned network has 30 stations, and there are about 200 commercially licensed privately owned radio stations, whose programming mainly consists of music and talk shows. There are about 30 million internet users in Pakistan, which is about 15.5% of the country's population. Though India's media is actually the freest media in Southeast Asia, it ultimately remains only partly free and receives a score of 43 on the Freedom House Index, with 100 being the least free. Journalists face many obstacles, such as heavy-handed government censorship and threats of violence in connection to their work. Violence against journalists is also a prevalent issue. At least 2 journalists were killed in 2016 because of their work. Conditions for media members are even worse in Pakistan, which receives a score of 65 on the Freedom House Index. Journalists face threats of violence and intimidation from the military, intelligence agencies, militant groups, and even the Taliban itself. Journalists are also restricted from fully engaging in discussion about certain topics, such as security operations and other sensitive governmental issues. According to Euromonitor, India is one of the largest and most promising telecommunication markets in the Asia-Pacific region. The country's young and increasingly tech-savvy population has a growing disposable income, and there is a vibrant startup culture present. They have a rapidly expanding number of online shopping transactions, yet the country's internet penetration does lag behind other major Asian economies. Though Pakistan boasts a large and youthful population similar to that of India, they are a more risky and underdeveloped market than the neighboring country. Pakistan's low IT literacy levels prevent a larger customer base from consuming telecom products. Now let's talk about Hofstede's cultural dimensions in regard to India and Pakistan. India scores higher on power distance than Pakistan, indicating an appreciation for hierarchy and a top-down structure in society and organizations. Real power is centralized, and a directive communication style is favored. With an intermediate score of 55, we are not able to determine a preference for Pakistan in terms of power distance. India also scores higher in individualism than Pakistan. They value both collectivist and individualist traits. There is a high preference to belong to a larger social framework in which individuals act towards the pursuit of a greater good. Yet individuals also feel personally responsible for the way they lead their lives, thanks to the principles of the dominant religion and philosophy of India, Hinduism. Pakistan is considered a solely collectivist society. Loyalty is a defining trait of collectivist societies, and the people of Pakistan value extended, committed relationships with their families and loved ones. Superficially, India is a very masculine country, as they hold visual displays of success and power in high importance. The country's prevalent spiritual and philosophical principles, however, discourage indulgent displays of masculinity, keeping the people of India in a nice balance. With an exactly intermediate score of 50, we are not able to determine a preference for Pakistan in terms of masculinity versus femininity. India has a medium-low preference for uncertainty avoidance. The country overall accepts imperfection and has a high tolerance for the unexpected. Pakistan, on the other hand, has a high preference for uncertainty avoidance. The people of Pakistan value rules and rigid codes of belief and behavior. Both India and Pakistan have intermediate scores for long-term orientation, making it difficult for us to distinguish preferences for long-term orientation for each country. Both India and Pakistan score very low for indulgence, which means that each country possesses a culture of restraint. In each country, there is not a noticeable emphasis on free time or the fulfillment of an individual's desires. The Coca-Cola Small World Machine campaign was targeted towards mall-goers in New Delhi, India, and Lahore, Pakistan, where the two machines were placed. These are people who might have prejudices or negative feelings towards consumers in the opposing country, and they also come from quote-unquote all walks of life, which means they were children, adults, men, women, rich, poor, all kinds of people. To elaborate a little bit more, we've included a few statistics about the demographic makeup of India and Pakistan. As you can see, they differ greatly in their ethnic group composition and the predominant language that is spoken. Pakistan's official religion is Muslim, while India's population is majority Hindu. Age makeup of each country is somewhat similar. India surpasses Pakistan in literacy rate. Literacy is defined as those age 15 and over who can read and write. Participants in the campaign were required to touch hands, draw peace signs, or dance before sharing a Coke. This was supposed to have Pakistan and India interact with each other in a lighthearted way. Many people gathered around the machines to watch. Many of the participants also didn't want to give the next person a turn because they were having so much fun. Pakistan and India show that they are similar in their cultural ways because they both love Bollywood movies, Coke studio music, food, and cricket. Coca-Cola Global and their offices in Pakistan and India held weekly Skype conferences for 6 months during the campaign. They faced issues trying to get the machines to work in Pakistan due to security, and even had to go back and list the specifics of every piece of technology within the machine before they could be transported. Due to the security issues and language barriers, it took 2 months for the paperwork to be cleared in Pakistan. Coca-Cola ultimately decided to ship the machines through a passenger airplane, so they had to create a special packaging for the machines. Coca-Cola didn't really advertise this campaign, but more so relied on the public to advertise for them. Coke used their website to allow people to write positive stories on the campaign that were then posted on their blog, which is called Unbottled. In addition to not really publicizing their work, Coca-Cola posted a video to both YouTube and Vimeo that documented reactions and gave a little more history about the project. From this, many people around the world commented on what Coke had done using the hashtag #SmallWorldsMachines on Twitter. The project finally came together on March 20th, 2013, when Coca-Cola began using the machines. Throughout their campaign, they used blogging as well as a short 3-minute video on what they had done in Pakistan and India. The idea that they had made come to life was that they had these 3D vending machines that replicated Skype video calling. Through this, they were able to connect Pakistan and India. Each machine was also adorned in cultural decorations that were important to the particular country that the machine was in. We think that Coca-Cola achieved their goal by creating a campaign using their brand that brought two countries in conflict together without causing any more tension. Instead of Coca-Cola keeping the countries separate, they used the fact that they do business in both to bring them together. The campaign targeted all age groups throughout Pakistan and India, which we thought was great because it allowed everyone to be involved. Coca-Cola's Small World Machine project was a temporary gesture that reached people who happened to pass the machines in the malls. We recommend that Coca-Cola use the same determination to come to a long-term goal for Pakistan and India to interact with each other. Pakistan and India have had tension for many years, so coming up with a lasting project for the two countries would be a more beneficial way for them, and it might just allow them to reach a broader audience than just the people who happen to be walking by the machines in the mall. Coca-Cola relied heavily on feedback from different people outside of the company. It may have been beneficial for Coca-Cola to use some of their resources to challenge other companies or people around the world to pitch in and somehow show Pakistan and India that they can come together and interact with each other. Coca-Cola is an international brand that's known everywhere, so they could have capitalized on this a bit more. To summarize, Coca-Cola successfully created a campaign despite the issues they were facing. They were able to bring two countries together that had tension for many years in a fun and unique way. Coca-Cola used their international brand to not only broaden the respect of their own company, but also to try to address an issue between these two neighboring countries.